For dere på den siden her, da? Ja. Men dere har ikke akseptert, dere har ikke noe forhold til å sette ned?
Ja. Du har fått ny jobb? Ja. I Konsernsjef Boujnah, ikke sant? Ja. Ja. Har du vært før opp? Ja. Det er noen sånne livredningsbåter, var ikke den som var en sånn? Ja.
There are more available seats in the front if you want to come forward, please.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being with us this morning. I recognize a few familiar faces. As you know, the Euronext teams have been visiting Norway extensively over the past 12 months, but very intensively over the past 5 weeks, where my colleagues and mine have been in Oslo between 1 and 2 days a week since the beginning of the year. So it's a good opportunity to see those new faces. So thank you for joining us this morning. With me, I'm, you know, the CEO of Euronext and Chairman of the Managing Board, but with me are Isabelle Lucha, the CEO of Euronext Lisbon and the CEO of Interbolsa, or Central Security Depository in Portugal, and Daryl Byrne, the CEO of Euronext Dublin, who is also group head of bonds, ETF, and funds listing. So thank you for being with us. What we want to do today is to update you as the recent developments announced this morning, but also to share with you some fundamental hard facts on what Euronext is and what Euronext wants to achieve in Oslo through the combination with the Oslo Børs VPS. So as you've seen, we have decided to increase our offer to 158 kroners plus a 6% interest rate. We do this because we want to make Oslo Børs a leader in the Nordic regions together with Euronext. And the key feature of our ambition is to grow Oslo Børs. We are confident that our industrial offer that is detailed this morning in the press release offers a superior position for Oslo Børs going forward, because it is really the right equilibrium between preserving the very fundamental identity of Oslo Børs as a cornerstone of Norwegian capital markets and giving the company the tools and the means to grow and address global competition. And this commitment to Oslo Børs VPS is reflected in our updated price. We hope that the shareholders in Oslo Børs VPS will appreciate this, including the majority of the shareholders in the company who have already committed to tender their shares to our offer. And really, these transactions that we have been invited to consider by a majority of the shareholders in Oslo Børs VPS, and we are very grateful for the very fruitful dialogue we have with all these shareholders, and we are confident that together with the support of the majority of Norwegian shareholders that are already backing this offer, we can produce together a very fruitful and productive solution for Oslo Børs and for the Norwegian capital market. So our offer is open to all shareholders until 11th of March 2019, but it could be extended. We know that the board of Oslo Børs has committed itself not to recommend our offer under any circumstances, but we renew our will, our intent, our readiness, our eagerness to discuss with them in a constructive manner, as well as we are engaged in a very close dialogue with all the participants of the Norwegian ecosystem to find together the best way to make the Euronext offer as relevant and as appropriate to the Norwegian capital markets. I want to insist on this point. It's not necessary for Euronext to become the sole owner of Oslo Børs VPS, or offer as a condition of 50.1% acceptance. This condition has already been met. We are happy to be part of any joint ownership with small or large minority shareholders, including central institutions like DNB or KLP, which are very important financial institutions in Norway and which we highly respect. So if they wish to be part of the ownership of a very important market infrastructure like Oslo Børs VPS in Norway, we are happy to discuss that because we respect their interest in the Norwegian financial market. And there are various ways to do it, and I'll come back to this point later. They can either stay as a minority shareholder in Oslo Børs VPS, or they are more than welcome to join the group of reference shareholders at group level of Euronext NV. As for the timing of the transaction, we are confident that this transaction can be completed by the end of June 2019 because we have filed our application for the review of Finanstilsynet in the Ministry of Finance on the 14th of January. As you know, the time provided by applicable rules and regulations in Norway is 4 months with an extension of 20 days. So we believe that if things are being done in accordance with applicable laws and regulations in Norway, we should be able to complete this transaction by the end of June. In any event, because of the new situation created by the offer of Nasdaq, and also because we have been approached by a group of the shareholders that have committed their shares to us who really want to have this transaction successful, we can confirm that 22 shareholders representing around, with the shares we own in the company directly, 38% of the share capital extended for the moment the long stop date of their irrevocable pre-commitment until the end of December 2019, showing their renewed support and commitment to our offer. Let me share with you a few facts about Euronext, because probably we need here to be more specific than we have been in the past to create a better understanding of what makes us different from alternatives, in particular the other bid that is on the table. First of all, Euronext is a family of 6 exchanges. We go way back in the exchange and CSD business, and we are not big corporations with European branches where decisions are made in a centralized manner. No, we decide together. Euronext, sorry for being a bit technical, was created as an incorporated joint venture at the time where the exchanges in Paris, Brussels, Amsterdam, back 20 years ago, Lisbon, decided that remaining alone will be a risk for the survival of a vibrant capital markets and needed to pull together their resources. So this bottom-up DNA, this idea of people joining forces together to build an exchange which is stronger, is one of the fundamental elements of our DNA. More important, we grow together. Each country exchange has the same voice around the table, and each member of the family benefits from our joint innovation and investment needs. So our motto is united in diversity. We pull together what requires and needs scale, technology, liquidity, investment resources, and we keep local what is better done at the local level, relationship with issuers, relationship with regulators, specific local products that are needed to adjust or to address the specific needs of the local markets. But we are stronger together. And combined, our 6 exchanges are today the leading venue for listing across Europe, with 1,300 companies listed. And we are, as I said, very close to our clients because relationships handled at the local level are very important. One thing is very important. We have a strong focus on SMEs. We have 1,000 SMEs listed on our markets, and we have specific programs and initiatives to support them along their journey for growth. The mandate of Euronext by charter is power pan-European capital markets to finance the real economy. And at the core of the financing of the real economy, there is the growth journey of SMEs. So together, we are the deepest liquidity pool in Europe, powered by a state-of-the-art technology. So What a deepest liquidity pool means in practice? It means that every day more than 8.1 billion euros of equity, ETFs, and certificates are traded on our market in a single order book in a single market. And all corporate clients, all our clients, including SMEs, benefit from increased visibility because they have access to 5,000 ultimate investors from a diverse range of investing preference, from large international firms to very specific sectorial investors. So the last point I want to cover in this effort to convey what is Euronext is that we are best in class in regulation compliance. We are highly aware of the critical importance of our role. Yes, Euronext is a relatively new company. It was re-IPO'd in 2014. It was created in 2000. But we operate assets that exist for 300 years in all our countries, and that are heavily regulated. Regulation is a very fundamental piece of our business, and compliance is an obsession in this organization. So we pay huge attention to compliance in all our operations. Let me give you a few data points on the financial performance, because some of these elements relate to what we are trying to do together. If you want to grow, you need to grow with a strong partner. We might be smaller than others, but we are in good shape. Those numbers will be updated at the end of the week because we will release our annual results on Friday. But for the moment, suffice to say that our revenue has grown by almost 100 million in 5 years, and we are now close to a 600 million company. And again, you'll have the last update on Friday. Derived from a very diverse source of revenues, but clearly with a core focus on exchanges. We are one of the few global market infrastructure that keeps a focus at group level on developing the exchange business, or developing the Børs business, of developing the Borsa or the Borsa business. So we have significantly invested in technology and new business because Euronext is a company that generates cash flow, but that invests a lot. And we have a balanced dividend policy that allows that investment policy. We have a dividend policy that creates a situation where we distribute 50% of our earnings, which allows 50% of retained earnings for investment, and also to create a strong and solid financial structure for the company. We have a very low leverage. We are rated single A by Standard & Poor's, and we are financially very strong. How is it possible? That's because we are agile, we are result-driven, we work hard, we are efficient, and we are an industrial company. We are not financial. We are an industrial companies. We operate a market infrastructure. So that's why we are best in class with a 58% EBITDA margin, because we run the company as most entrepreneurs and most managers run their companies when they have a 8 to 12% EBITDA margin. We control costs, we grow the top line, we try to stick with a strategy, and that's how we have achieved this close to 58% EBITDA margin. And this allows us to keep flexibility to invest, because market infrastructures need investment. You need to invest. In this particular case, VPS needs investment, and we are confident in our capability at group level to fit and to grow. So that's Euronext as a standalone organization. So before moving to what we want to do together with Oslo Børs, VPS, I'd like to give the floor to Isabelle, so that you have an opportunity to better understand how we manage our talent, ambitions, and the people issues. Because never forget that at the end of the day, the ones who make things happen are women and men working on the ground. And the way we address our talents, the way we grow talents is absolutely critical. And then Daryl will share with you the practical example of the most recent extension of the Euronext family with the acquisition of the Irish Stock Exchange that was completed last year. Isabel?
Thank you. Can you just move this on?
Yes.
Bom dia. That's good morning in Portuguese. Don't worry, I will not speak. I am the CEO of Euronext Lisbon and of Interbolsa, the Portuguese CSD, and I am with Euronext for about 10 years now. I have 836 colleagues, and we are working hard together at this precise moment to shape the future of our company. We are now in the process of building our new strategy, which will be released in the second half of 2019, and the values that will be attached to it. And this is a very decisive and exciting period, which all employees are participating. And we would be very happy and looking forward to have also the Oslo Børs employees involved in this process together with us. We invest a lot in our talents and recognize them. We want to build a community of experts and of leaders, and we do it through a different range of initiatives. We organize learning weeks, we organize innovation labs, learning sessions. We have a number of initiatives on training at local level and at international, global level, where all employees participate and discuss with internal and with external leaders their views and their opinions. We are also a family, and relationships matter. That is my personal experience. We are an agile group, so all opinions matter, and we discuss together and share most of our experiences to serve our clients, as we are a client-focused, centric organization. So we remain local, but at the same time, we discuss across our countries our opinions and our experiences. That's how we live through our motto, as Stéphane said, united in diversity. After meeting with the board and the management, and after hosting some of them in our Amsterdam, Brussels, and Porto offices, and I had myself the opportunity to host VPS team in Porto to discuss with them, to show them through our organization, and to discuss over future plans. I realized that there are so many similarities and such an interesting cultural match between our teams, and that was very interesting to conclude. But, actions are more important than words, so I will leave you with Daryl Byrne, the CEO of Euronext Dublin, and the global head of that and listings for ETFs as well, to walk you through his journey and his experience as a new member of the Euronext family of exchanges since March 2018. So Daryl, to you.
Great, thank you. Good morning, everybody. As Isabel mentioned, I'm CEO of Euronext Dublin and head of Dash and Funds listings and ETFs, and I've worked with the Irish Stock Exchange, now Euronext Dublin, for 19 years. The Irish Stock Exchange joined Euronext at the end of March of 2018. It's been a positive development for Euronext Dublin, for our listed companies, for our trading member firms, and for the Irish ecosystem. And already at this stage, it's delivering benefits. As part of Euronext, we have a lot more to offer for attracting companies to our markets, especially tech companies and SMEs. And this is helped by Euronext's strong SME focus and expertise, Euronext's position as an exchange of choice for tech listings, and as well the valuable pre-IPO supports that Euronext provides to companies such as Tech Share and Family Share, which are educational programs to support executives within smaller companies before IPO. On top of that then, we have the ability to offer a much wider range of services to our companies after listing, from investor relations management to company webcast to regulatory compliance solutions. Dublin is the group's centre of excellence for debt and funds listings and for ETFs as well, and that really strengthens our #1 global position for debt and funds listings, and it enhances our capability to grow our business. As the Centre of Excellence, we combine Dublin's listing expertise with the group's secondary markets expertise, and we're responsible for strategy, business development, and revenue line growth for debt and funds listings and for ETFs across the group. It puts us in a position as well where we're able to leverage the group's technological capabilities and expertise for expanding the range of services that we can provide to our customers. Last Monday was a very significant milestone in the integration of Euronext Dublin as we migrated the shares of our listed companies to the Opti trading platform. And that means that securities of our listed companies now trade on Euronext's single pan-European order book. And this provides our listed companies with access to a wider pool of international investors and enhanced liquidity as well. And increased trading flows from banks and brokers joining as new trading member firms. And in fact, last Monday, we had 9 new member firms join Euronext Dublin. So being part of Euronext delivers a significant platform to grow our business. It provides us with the technological capability and expertise to innovate in our business. M&A is now a viable option to develop and grow our business. And it also delivers support with complex regulatory issues. So, for example, we received full group support at the most senior level to address the significant Irish market settlement issue post-Brexit. And that was at a senior level throughout Euronext. It also provides new opportunities for our staff as part of an international group. So there's been an expansion of roles and responsibilities of some of the Dublin team within the group. There's also new positions have been created within the Centre of Excellence. And some of our top management have joined the Euronext senior leadership team as well. There's also secondment and training opportunities for our staff. In terms of our core listing business, we have the same markets, we have the same regulatory regimes, the same connections to and relationships with our listed companies and the ecosystem. A lot remains local. Our connections to our trading member firms, our connections to trade associations. We've also maintained our dual listing regime with the London Stock Exchange, which is an important feature of the Irish market for our listed companies. We now have expanded responsibilities for debt and funds listings and for ETFs for the group through the Centre of Excellence. In terms of governance, Euronext Dublin has a board comprising a chairman and 5 directors, including 2 local independent non-executive directors, one of whom is a former director of the Central Bank of Ireland, and the other is a senior executive from the asset management industry in Ireland. As CEO of Euronext Dublin, I'm a full member of the Euronext NV Managing Board, the topco of Euronext, and contribute to group's strategic decisions and consideration of group matters as well. Our Dublin teams work with their colleagues from across the group on business activities, on group and Dublin specific projects as well. And from a regulatory perspective, Euronext Dublin continues to be regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. We continue to have the same strong relationship with the Central Bank, the same level of ongoing interactions, and the same level of reporting and requirements. And the Central Bank joined the College of Regulators that Stéphane will mention a little later on.
Yeah, thank you, Darren. So what you just described is the framework of what we would like to achieve together. But beyond the framework, what is important is the ambition that I would like to underline this morning. Because together we want to create a leading player in the Nordics, a combination for growth. We want to grow Oslo Børs VPS together with Euronext. So Oslo Børs has been in our mind for a long time. As I told you, our mandate is to power up pan-European capital markets to finance the real economy. So we had a dialogue with the management and with the board of Oslo Børs VPS at the beginning of 2018. We understand that several board meetings took place to review a written offer that was sent to the board at that time. And the reply we got in March was, why not? Maybe let's continue the dialogue, but now is not the right time because we are in the middle of our strategic review. So on that basis, we stopped any further discussions. and until we were invited at the end of November, beginning of December, by Norwegian shareholders who were willing to sell their shares to a new owner of Oslo Børs VPS. And we did not hesitate when that opportunity came because it was the continuity from our point of view of the dialogue we had in the past with the company, and also because the the transaction was sponsored by a majority of Norwegian shareholders, we thought that we had to be part of it. So we have been encouraged by the local financial community to be part of this transaction, hence the initial price that we offered with a 34% premium reflected our perception of the competitive environment, hence the way it was structured in our offer of the 14th of January. We have been super transparent across all the process. We insisted that we wanted to engage with the board and the management team of Oslo Børs as quickly as possible, and it was a matter of hours between the moment where the deal was completed with the majority of Norwegian shareholders who offered us to enter this transaction and the moment where we were freed from confidentiality agreement. So for us, joining together Oslo Børs VPS and the Euronext family was just a natural move and a rational move. So it's not a complicated, sophisticated move. It's a continuity of our strategy, and we believe that it's a good fit for the future or the next phase of the development of Oslo Børs. Clearly, Oslo Børs is a success, and we have no interest to change what has been working so well to make it a success. So continuity will be a key word of our project. We have read in the press some concerns about what will change, and let me address them in a very clear way to dissipate diffuse any misunderstanding. First, Oslo Børs has a very vibrant SME market with a wide range of listing options and various entry points for capital markets for Norwegian companies. That will not change. On the contrary, listed companies, including SMEs, will have access to the largest liquidity pool in Europe. But we don't intend to change listing rules or the particular access like the Norwegian OTC market or the entry market, because in every single of the market we operate, there are particular access rules between the entry point and the full listing. Plus, the Norwegian companies will benefit from all particular actions and initiatives to promote SMEs towards analysts, brokers, and investors, as it has been articulated by Jarrell a few minutes ago. Because we have access to 1,200 SMEs, specialized investors specialized in SMEs. And that can make a difference to accelerate the development of an SME market. And Norwegian SMEs will benefit from exclusive services we have developed and market data access and executive education program. They will keep their local contacts and their local relationships with Oslo Børs. There is no such a thing as centralized listing within Euronext at all. Because what works in a local ecosystem is a situation where lawyers, bankers, regulators, listing managers can talk to each other in a quick way to fix problems in accordance with applicable rules and regulation, but you need shortcuts to fix problems. You don't need centralized bureaucracy. And I'm not stating that for the sake of the Oslo Børs transaction. It's just that because we have been addressing these issues in the 5+1, because we have also regulated market in the UK, in the 5 markets where we operate regulated markets. So we will continue to do those things in that way. And we will sell and promote all sorts of corporate services to issuers because we are committed to grow in this area. As you know, Nasdaq has decided to sell its corporate services business. We have decided to invest in corporate services business. So also, we will make sure that Norwegian companies have the best access to their financial needs and that their needs are carefully monitored. So we will establish a local market advisory board of Oslo Børs with representatives from the local trading communities and listed companies to provide us with guidance on and recommendations regarding the future rules of the exchange. Oslo Børs is a leading exchange on energy, on shipping, on seafood, and they have done an amazing job in attracting international companies to be listed in Oslo in specific segments that have reached a critical mass. That will not change. On the contrary, we will add industry peers research and investors to grow this business. Oslo Børs has a successful, highly successful bond listing franchise, specifically in the segment of high-yield bonds. That will not change. On the contrary, it will be boosted by the momentum created by Oslo Børs being part of a large debt platform, with Dublin being the global player in the corporate bonds business. But the high-yield bond business in Norway does not compete against the corporate bonds business of Dublin. There are, on the contrary, much more synergies in addressing same customers with different products. Oslo Børs has developed a range of products specific to the Norwegian market. The specific markets for capital instruments for the local saving banks, the equity capital certificates, or the specific derivative fish pool markets in Bergen. That will not change. We want to strengthen and expand those businesses, and we even want to make Oslo Børs, the CEO of Oslo Børs going forward, the center of excellence and the leader of the center of excellence for commodities business across Euronext, including the commodities business we have in other jurisdictions like the corn, wheat, rapeseed, dairy, fertilizers, etc. That is a clear commitment to that. But let's continue. The Norwegian Central Securities Depository, the CSD, VPS, is a very important business. And you know what? We respect the importance attached to VPS because in every country, the CSD is a very important business. In every country, it is the notary. In Ireland, the Ministry of Finance, the Department of Finance in Ireland is very attached to the fact that the CSD collect stamp duties. In this country, VPS has a very important role in producing some tax returns. So we respect that, and that will not change. What will change is that we will come with means and resources to address one of the fundamental issues that VPS is facing, which is adjusting to the changing environment in Europe, a changing regulatory environment, addressing the technological challenges of upgrading the technology platform, and also build together with VPS Nordic ambitions for the company. Just as we did in Portugal, we are definitely determined to invest in technology. Oslo Børs, VPS are strong company names and well known among their clients. That will not change. On the contrary, we will maintain the corporate name, we will maintain proximity with the Norwegian community, and we will invest in client relationships, with client centricity being one of the core values of Euronext. I've heard also some questions about the building of Oslo Børs, which is a fundamental symbol of the vibrant capital market community in Oslo. That will not change. We will keep the building, and the building of Oslo Børs will remain the symbolic center of the capital market community as it is today. So also Oslo Børs has a strong local board, with the board of directors with representation of minority shareholders, with representation of employees. That will not change. On the contrary, Norwegian influence will increase because, and that's a very important point, we will invite a leading Norwegian figure of the local finance community to join the supervisory board of Euronext at group level, at the top core level. And all these roles, in addition to the CEO of Oslo Børs, who will join the managing board that runs the company every Monday, will provide Norwegian voices with an influence at the group level, at the operating level, and at the supervisory board, in what is the Euronext decentralized governance model that exists for the past 20 years. Because all decisions are taken in a collegial mode. They are not taken far away by others who weight the local issues as part of a much bigger picture. So there will be strong voices from Norway, strong Norwegian voices around the Euronext table going forward. And finally, Oslo Børs is regulated in Norway by the Norwegian authorities. That will not change. On the contrary, presentere will be invited to join the Euronext group level College of Regulators, and they will have a voice in all the debates about the supervision of Euronext at group level, at the top co level. The College of Regulators also works with a rotating chair. Every 6 months, one of the regulators is chairing the group. So at some point of time, Oslo for 6 months will be the place where all the meetings for the regulation, the supervision of the Euronext group will take place, and Finanstilsynet will be in charge of supervising at group level the Euronext group. And this is not a structure that we are inventing or making up for the sake of this deal. It is the way we work for the past 20 years. Also, something which I think is absolutely fundamental. Oslo Børs VPS will represent more than 15% of Euronext revenues, and it will become the third largest revenue contributor in the group after France and the Netherlands. That is critical, because your weight in any organization depends on how strong your business is in the group. So Euronext as a group might be smaller than other groups, although we are in a better financial shape than many of our competitors. But even if Euronext is smaller, the voice and the impact and the importance of the Norwegian community in this group will be much more important than any other alternative project. And more than that, the Oslo Børs VPS will become the Euronext development hub for and the launchpad for our ambitions in Nordics. We believe that there is no way for a European project like Euronext to be successful without a Nordic dimension. There is nothing successful in Europe at the European level without being successful in the Nordics. And since there is a sort of quasi-monopoly situation created in the Nordics by Nasdaq, we believe that there is an opportunity here to make Oslo the competitor to Nasdaq in the Nordics, and we believe that with the backing of an organization like Euronext, we can start developing a vibrant competition. In the alternative, where Oslo would become part of a monopoly, of a Nordic monopoly, then the situation would be different for all the Norwegian market participants. So this is the opportunity we want to offer to the Norwegian financial community. And as I told you earlier, Oslo will be the headquarters of all the Euronext activities to be developed in the Nordics, and as I said, the center of excellence for our commodities business. So this is the proof of concept of the place we reserve to Oslo Børs VPS in our group. We have a very decentralized model. We have a very decentralized model with representatives of each market at each level of the governance of the group. Not because we are trying to buy Oslo Børs VPS today, but because the model was designed and tested through many crises over the past 20 years initially. So this is not something we are inventing for these transactions, and it works. So we have today at the top a group of reference shareholders who are committed to support the company. Initially, there were 33% of them with a 3 years shareholders agreement. This group is smaller because the company has grown a lot, and they represent now 23.8 or 0.9% of the shares in the company, and they are welcome. They are happy to welcome any new member from the Norwegian financial community who would like to be influential at the top group. So as you know, we have already one large Norwegian investor, which is Norges Bank, but they are not part of the group of reference shareholders. Now we have then a supervisory board with 9 members representing 7 nationalities, They are either independent, 6 of them, and 3 of them are appointed by the reference shareholders. So the way it would work is that a leading figure of the Norwegian financial ecosystem will join this group, which will be made of 10. Then you have the extended managing board that meets every Monday morning on the phone and once a month in a rotating location to run the company. And we have 7 nationalities. So the CEO of Oslo Børs, VPS, will be the head of commodities and also in charge of the Nordic strategy, and will be one of us. And then we have the College of Regulators that is a pari passu or equal footing College of Regulators. So Financial Syndic would be invited to join this Euronext College of Regulators. And not only, as I said, they will have a voice at group level, but they will also be upstream in all the discussions about how to influence the directions of financial regulations at EU level. So, as I told you, if Norwegian shareholders are interested in becoming part of the group of reference shareholders, they are more than welcome to do so. What I just want to add as well is that below this pure governance, we have a very inclusive cross-country management DNA, in particular with the senior leadership team where about 60 people, we have the 60 leaders of the organizations across all our countries who contribute to the development of the strategy, share information, and are part of the execution plans. So for us, it is very important, and that's the final point I want to raise, that Oslo Børs and VPS continue to be very closely and locally regulated by Financial Syndic. And it's very important that Financial Syndic is fully in the loop of what's happening at the group level and as part of the College of Regulators to monitor the supervision. Let me just cover 2 or 3 more slides before Q&A. We have a very strong ambition for Oslo Børs VPS because we believe that there is a growth opportunity. We believe that Oslo Børs is very strong, but can be even stronger with Euronext, which provides the right balance between identity and growth. We will give access to the Norwegian financial community to our state-of-the-art trading technology. In this business, technology does matter. And we today operate under one roof, as the trading platform called Optic, which is definitely the cutting-edge technology. We did the migration last week in Dublin from the Dutch Börse technology to the Euronext technology as part of the integration, something very similar as what we would do in migrating from the London Stock Exchange technology to the Euronext technology. And clearly, the gap in performance, in liquidity, in latency, in reliability is amazing, and we get all sorts of positive feedbacks from clients. So having the control of your technology at group level not only allows you to save money, and instead of paying money to LSE to buy technology, you have more money to spend internally to develop the platform, but it gives you bandwidth to influence the needs for innovation, in particular in the fascinating field of necessary investment related to blockchain. So what we will do also is that we will increase the visibility of Norwegian listed companies vis-à-vis investors and internationally. They will not be drawn. I've heard this type of strange comments that they will not know. They will have access to a more visible platform within the European construct. We will accompany Norwegian SMEs in their journey. Daryl mentioned TechShare. TechShare is a sort of tapas MBA where entrepreneurs are in a promotion for 1 year, 1 month, 1 day per month to meet PR agencies, lawyers, accountants to prepare the migration from being a private company to being a listed company. And it's a very successful program where initially we started with the promotion of 35 companies across the various Euronext countries. Now it's a promotion of 130 companies across the Euronext countries. So having vibrant Norwegian companies preparing for IPOs, part of these TechShare promotions, it would be a fantastic opportunity for them to meet with peers. And also, as I said on a few occasions already, we want the international listing business of Oslo Børs to be vibrant. There is no competition between Oslo and the other listing venues. In Euronext, issuers list wherever they want. And since Oslo Børs have done something amazing, like attracting companies from Chile who are in the seafood business to list in Oslo, we want that to grow further. We have no interest to reduce that. We have a great interest to make it bigger. So we believe that with our offices in Singapore, in Hong Kong, in New York, we can offer a development of those businesses. And finally, as I said, we want to invest in VPS, and we want to empower the employees and the teams and the management of Oslo Børs to give them opportunities to grow above and beyond the space of the company, because most of them can definitely have access to much bigger roles in the European ambition of Euronext. And something very important, we will favor, as we have done everywhere, local decision making, local clients relationship. We will encourage strong local decisions, but within global responsibilities. But let me be clear. Oslo Børs will not be a branch of Euronext. Oslo Børs will not be the local branch of a regional subsidiary headquartered in Stockholm, which is itself the subsidiary of an international group headquartered in New York. No. Oslo Børs will be part of an equal footing family of 6 exchanges with the governance rights I've described, which we are not invented, but that exists for the past 20 years. It's a fundamental difference with the alternative offer. And it will be done to drive competition and to make Oslo Børs grow within the Nordic regions, to create competitions in the Nordic environment. So to conclude, a quick note on the regulatory clearance. I mean, there is a lot of information here, but you will read it. Fundamentally, we have filed our application on the 14th of January, on the day we launched our offer, in accordance with applicable laws and regulations in Norway. We expect the authorities in Norway to perform the review process in accordance with the applicable laws and regulations in Norway. And so far, the dialogue we have with both the Ministry of Finance and Finanstilsynet give us comfort that things will be done in accordance with applicable laws and regulations in Norway. So in this respect, we are confident that the transaction can be completed by the end of January 2019. We don't see any ground in applicable laws and regulations for the authorities to start doing a discretionary benchmark or comparison between competing offers. And since we are already fit and proper and suitable in 6 markets, in Belgium, in France, in Ireland, in the United Kingdom, in Portugal, in the Netherlands, we are confident that we should be considered fit and proper and suitable owner of Oslo Børs today. And also, we don't see any legal ground for creating ownership restrictions in terms of thresholds. So therefore, if everything goes in accordance with applicable laws and regulations, we should be confident the transaction can be completed by mid-May or mid-June. Final concluding remarks. We have been encouraged by a majority of Norwegian shareholders and representatives of the Norwegian Financial Committee to enter into this situation. We have been encouraged and supported by a majority of Norwegian shareholders to continue reiterating our determinations for the deal, and we have been encouraged and supported again over the weekend with their commitment to extend their undertaking until the end of 2019. So we have decided to improve our offer to demonstrate our commitment towards those shareholders who support us, and to achieve key strategic milestones which we believe are the best way to secure a strong, ambitious growth future for Oslo Børs that will be a cornerstone of the Euronext ambition in this part of the world, because our ambition is is to grow and to create competition through innovation. Oslo Børs VPS employees will be empowered to develop satisfaction of the client, to be part of the Euronext strategy, and also to develop themselves in a bigger group. And we believe that by joining Euronext, Oslo Børs VPS, its members, its issuers, its stakeholders, will benefit from the strength of the greater Euronext family. So we'll maintain, as I said, a strong local board of management. We will give access to decision making at the top core level of every level: regulation, operations, supervision, decision making, and there will be a Norwegian voice at all those levels, and we will leverage on the capacity of the local talents. And again, we are committed to do it because this is what we do for 20 years. It is not unique. It is a deal we want to do because what has been achieved in this country as a country is amazing. As a company, Oslo Børs is amazing. And we believe that the people-to-people fit has been impressive, as demonstrated in the few occasions where we interacted with them. So let's forget about what happened over the past 5 weeks. Let's be reasonable and rational in what's going to happen in the next 5 weeks. And let's think about what we can do for the next 5 years and the next 50 years to build a stronger capital markets. And we are open to engage with everyone in Oslo, because what really matters is the future of a strong capital market in Europe and a strong capital market in Norway. And for that, we need to think forward, irrespective of the volatility of the past few weeks. Thank you very much. So I'll take questions, and my colleagues will take them if you want.
Yeah, Kjetil Holm from A24. I was wondering how much of, you said that the Euronext doesn't need to own the entire stock exchange, like 100%. How much would you want to have, what kind of limits do you need to be satisfied?
We have an offer document which is very clear. We are satisfied with 50.1% of the shares. This condition has already been met because we have secured 50.5% of the shares. Our offer is open to 100% of the shareholders. So if the shareholders want to sell to us, we are willing to buy their shares. If they want to remain shareholders in the company, we are willing to operate the company with minority shareholders in the company. This is their decision. We believe that in accordance with applicable laws and regulations in Norway, we can deploy the plan that we have for Oslo Børs with the control of the majority of the shares in the company. And I want to reiterate what I said earlier. If large institutional investors who really care about financial markets infrastructure in Norway want to remain shareholders, I mean DLB or KLP, or if they want to have an influence at group level in a more liquid company where they want to be part of the decision making at the group level, then they are more than welcome to join, and we will do anything we can to facilitate that process.
All right, I'll take one more. Why did you accept to enter into this auction and to do this bid without having any conversations with Oslo Børs ahead of the bid? So it came as a surprise to them.
No, it's a very good conversation. It's a good question, because this is an unusual situation. And the way it happens is very simple. Because we had long discussions with the board of Oslo Børs at the beginning of 2018, because the board asked us to send a written proposal, because this written proposal was discussed in 2 board meetings of Oslo Børs, because the letter they sent us on the 2nd of March was neutral/encouraging, but they were saying, we like what you are building in Europe, we want to continue the dialogue, but it's not the right time because we are in the process of a strategic review. We said we are not opportunistic. It's a deal that makes sense for us, and it's not absurd from the Oslo Børs point of view, because the type of discussions we had in January, February, and March was not indicating any hostile framework. Now, what we didn't like was the fact that it was done on the back of the board. But it was sponsored and promoted by a majority of Norwegian shareholders. So we were told there is a situation in Norway where a majority of Norwegian shareholders want to sell the company without the knowledge of the board. It's a natural deal for us. We are surprised by the process. What do? We have two options. Either we pass, and then we run the risk of somebody else being part of this auction, or we play by the rules, and we insist, as we have done in writing many times with those shareholders, saying, as soon as possible, we want to engage the board. And that's what we have done. So, yes, the process was unusual, but we did something that we thought was rational. And because this deal, we have not invented this transaction in a couple of weeks. And we were able to produce that offer, that detailed offer, quickly, because we had thought for months about it and we had discussed it many times with the board. So when I'm telling you, forget about what happened over the past 5 weeks, is that the circumstances of this offer should not prevail. What really matters is that at some point of time, a majority of Norwegian shareholders, respectable Norwegian financial institutions, decided that they wanted to sell their shares, that they found that this price that we offered, which at that time, 145, was the highest price ever paid for a share in Oslo Børs, was the right price. And we entered into a legally binding transaction where they committed to sell, we committed to buy, and we now have titles securing 50.5% of the shares in the company. That's a reality. Now, it's all subject to the authorities deciding whether we are a suitable, fit and proper owner of the company. Period.
You say that your pre-commitments were 45.2%, which is unchanged as far as I can see from your initial offer. Did you succeed in convincing anyone else to commit? That's my first question in that period. And two, why was the price set at 158?
Okay. So we don't disclose acceptance level for the moment until the offer is closed and the offer has been extended. As you can imagine, most of the shareholders are waiting and seeing because the Nasdaq interest at the revised price has created a new environment. So what is really important is that we came out with this price following conversations with all the shareholders, in particular the shareholders who are committed to tender their shares. We highly respect the choice they have made and the support of the majority of the shareholders who are supporting our offer. And we believe that it was appropriate to upgrade or update our offer at the revised price to take into consideration the real facts that there is a market price of the company and that we didn't want the shareholders who were committed to us and who, for most of them, were willing to extend their commitment till the end of the year, to be in a situation where they could not benefit from this new market environment. Hence, this current price. And also, because we believe that the deal makes sense, and we are willing to share the synergies with the selling shareholders.
Just one follow-up. Have you had any conversations with shareholders representing the 10 to 15% free float, indicating that they would accept at the level that you now have proposed?
No, I don't want to comment on that one. What I can tell you is that what you call the 10 to 15%, so they seem to be, for the moment, in a wait-and-see mode. And that's what probably you would expect from any rational shareholders. Now, with the revised price, with the new momentum, with probably a better understanding of the legal environment of the transaction, with a better understanding of the nature of our commitment, with a better price, things will evolve. But for the moment, they are more in a wait-and-see mode. Any more question? Let me make a final remark. This is a very important transaction for Euronext, and this is a very, very, very important transaction for Oslo Børs. I kindly ask you to check, triple check facts and focus on facts, because this type of transactions can be a field of big misunderstandings, superficial analysis. Just make sure that you triple check facts. We are happy to provide you with all the data. We are so determined to do this transaction because we have always been super transparent with everyone. So we are not going to change this course of actions. We'll continue to be super transparent. There is no hidden agenda anywhere. The deal we are discussing now is marginally different from the deal we have discussed at the beginning of 18. It has improved because the quality of the dialogue with the financial community in Norway has been deepened. I mean, every time my colleagues and I come to Norway between 1 and 2 days a week per week for the past 5 weeks, we meet more people, we learn more, we think more, we adjust our thinking. There are a few things on which we are putting focus that we were not ready to do because we want to do this deal, but we want to please check facts. It is not the same to be around the table of the Supervisory Board at group level of Euronext and being somewhere in the local branch of a regional company headquartered in Stockholm, which is the subsidiary of a group headquartered in New York, which represents at the end of the day 3% or 4% max of the total group. It's not the same as representing 15% and being presented group level. It's not the same to be around the table of the College of Regulators supervising the company and just reading in the papers what's happening between the SEC and NASDAQ in New York. So I really insist on that. Please go into the details if you want to benchmark the offers, and please go into the details of the legal position, because we fully trust the authorities, the Ministry of Finance and Finansinstitutet, to perform their roles in accordance with applicable rules and regulations, and that requires some scrutiny on facts. Thank you.
Io continuiamo.